Hey everyone, welcome back. So, today, just a few minutes ago, we got finally the reveal of Chords Archetype, the musical Doremichords archetype from Ancient Guardians, Pendulum archetype. So let's talk about it. From what we see, it's a waifu archetype, but let's check it out. Looks interesting. I love the artworks for all of them, I guess. So the Doremichord Kyuta. So it's a Earth Fairy Pendulum Effect Monsters, level 1, 100 attack, 400 defense, Pendulum skill of 8. So the Pendulum effect here, Chord Pendulum Monster. Pendulum summon cannot be negated. Save Pendulum summon for these. Okay, the monster effect here, you can only use this card's name first effect once per turn. The first effect here, if this card is normal or special summoned, you can add one Doremichord Pendulum monster from your deck to your hand except itself. Not bad, it's a searcher card. That's really actually a good card effect. The second effect here, if you have an even number pendulum scale in your pendulum zone, the Doremichord Pendulum monsters you control gain 100 attack times the pendulum scale total you control. Okay, boosting effect's not that important, but the first effect is really good to add a monster, pendulum monster, the Chord Pendulum monster from the deck. So the second one here is the Doremichord Dreamia Wind Fairy Pendulum Effect Monster, level 2, 600, 400, pendulum skill of 7. Your Chord Pendulum monster, pendulum summon cannot be negated, so the same as the last one. The monster effect here, you can only use the first effect once per turn. If there's a card that is Chord card in your pendulum zone, you can special summon this card from your hand. That's really good. Easy special summon for a card like this, that's really good. The second effect here, if you have an odd number pendulum scale in your pendulum zone and a Chord Pendulum monster card you control will be destroyed by card effects, you can destroy these cards instead. Not bad again. So next one here is Doremichord Elitia Water Fairy Pendulum Monster, level 3, 1100 attack, 400 defense, pendulum scale of 6. The pendulum effect is the same. Your pendulum summon of the Chord monster cannot be negated. The monster effect, you can only use the first effect. So the first effect here, if this card is normal or special summoned, you can target one spell / trap card your opponent control, return it to your opponent's hand. It's not bad. The second effect here, if you got an even number pendulum scale in your pendulum zone, you take no battle damage involving a Chord Pendulum monster you control. This is the worst one, I guess, in the last two. So this one here, Doremichord Fancia Fire Fairy Pendulum Effect Monster, level 4, 1600 attack, 400 defense, pendulum scale of 5. The pendulum effect is that their pendulum summon cannot be negated. The monster effect, you can only use the first effect. The first effect here is during your main phase, you can take one Chord Pendulum monster from your deck except itself, based on the face up in the extra deck. Not bad. The second effect here, if you have an even pendulum scale and a Doremi Pendulum monster you control would be destroyed by battle, you can destroy this card instead. Okay, so one for card effects, this for battle. So Doremichord Gracia Water Fairy Pendulum, level 5, 2100 attack, 1400 defense, pendulum scale of 4. Pendulum effect here is different. So when you pendulum summon a Chord Pendulum monster, your opponent cannot active a monster effect or spell or trap cards. Not bad of effect. Okay, the monster effect, you can only use the first effect once per turn. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add one Chord spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. Not bad. Searcher for the spells or trap, that's really good. The second effect here, if you have an even number pendulum scale in your pendulum zone and your Chord Pendulum monster attacks, your opponent cannot activate monster effect until the end of the damage step. Okay, not bad. Doremichord Angela. This is a level 6 Fairy Fire Pendulum monster, 2300 attack, 1400 defense, pendulum scale of 3. The pendulum effect here is the same as the level 5. Basically, your opponent cannot activate monster effects or spells or trap when you pendulum summon a Chord monster. The monster effect here, you can only use the first effect once per turn. During your main phase, you may tribute one Doremichord Pendulum monster, and if you do, special summon one Doremichord Pendulum monster with a pendulum scale that is 2 higher or lower than the tributed monster from your deck except itself. Okay, that's really not bad. That's actually a really good effect. Okay, the second effect here, if you have an odd number pendulum scale in your pendulum zone and your Chord Pendulum monster attacks, your opponent cannot activate spells or traps, so one stops the monster effect, one stops the spells and traps. Next is the Doremichord Butia. So it's an Earth Fairy Pendulum monster, level 7, 2500 attack, 2400 defense, pendulum scale of 2. Pendulum effect is the same as the last two, and that is opponent cannot active monster effect or spells and trap cards. The monster effect, the first effect here, the monster effect, you cannot activate the first effect more than once per turn. The first effect is quick effect. You can target one effect monster your opponent controls during this turn, would leave the field, banish it, and if you have an even number pendulum scale in your pendulum zone, you can target one face up spell slash trap your opponent control instead. That's not bad actually. This is really not bad. The second effect here, once per turn, at the start of the damage step, when this card battles a monster with an attack that is equal to or higher than the lowest pendulum scale in your pendulum zone times 300, you may destroy that monster. Interesting effect. So here's the boss monster. So it's Doremichords Kolia. So Wind Fairy, Pendulum Monster effect, level 8, 2700 attack, 2500 defense, scale of 1. So the Pendulum effect here is the last as the higher level ones. Your opponent cannot activate monster effect or spells and traps when you pendulum summon. The monster effect here, you can only use the second and third effects once per turn for this card. So the first effect here, you can special this card from your hand by attributing 2 pendulum monsters. This is not once per turn, but again, the cost is too heavy. But this can actually be splashed in other decks because it doesn't specify Doremichords. So the second effect here, you can target one face-up card your opponent's control, negate its effect until the end of your opponent's turn. If you have an odd number pendulum scale in your pendulum zone, you may target 2 instead. Interesting, I guess, all I can say. Third effect here, when the effect of a monster on the field with attack less than or equal to 300 times the highest pendulum scale in your pendulum zone is activated, quick effect, destroy that monster. Okay, not bad again. So let's see the spells and trap here. The first one here is Doremichords scale. Normal spell card. You can only activate one card with this name per turn. The first effect here, apply these effects in sequence according to the number of Doremichord pendulum monster you control with different names. Okay, so if you have 3 pendulum monster with different name of Doremichord, return 1 card in your pendulum zone to your hand, and if you do, place 1 Doremichord pendulum monster from your face-up extra deck to your pendulum zone. Interesting. This will be the one that you use more, I guess. The second one, you need 5 monster. So the 5 or more, special summon 1 Doremichord pendulum monster from your hand. This is a great effect, but 5 monster, guys, it's really not that easy. Okay, 7 or more, destroy all face-up cards your opponents control. So it's basically Wavering Eyes. I just go ahead say play Wavering Eyes. It's reprinted in this set, so not a bad card for the first effect though. The first effect is not bad. Next one is the field spell, Doremichord Harmonia. The field spell, the first effect here, select and activate one of these effects. You can only use this card name's effect once per turn each. Add 1 Doremichord pendulum monster from your face up in your extra deck to your hand. Not bad. The second effect here, have 1 Doremichord card in your pendulum zone, gain pendulum scale equal to the level to its level until the end of... Okay, that's a really interesting. So you can achieve the whole odd or even stuff. Okay, not bad. If you control 3 or more Doremichord pendulum monster cards with different names that have an odd number pendulum scales or that have an even number pendulum scales, so either that or this, you can destroy 1 card your opponent control. You want to be too specific, like 3 evens or 3 odds to just destroy 1 card? Yeah, it doesn't target, which is great, but seriously, I don't know. So the trap here, Doremichord Musica, a normal trap card. You can only activate 1 card with this name one per turn. The first effect here, select one of these effects based on the pendulum scale of Doremichordia pendulum monster you control. So if it's an odd number pendulum scale, special summon 1 Doremichord pendulum monster with an odd number pendulum scale from your face-up extra deck. The second one here, the second effect here, if you have an even number, special summon 1 Doremichordia pendulum monster with even number pendulum scale from your face-up extra deck. And if you have both, 1 even, 1 odd, target 1 card your opponent control, destroy it. And this is not a bad card. Actually, this is a really good card. As a normal trap, actually, this is not a bad card. Doremichordia Formal, a counter trap here. You can only activate 1 of these cards, 1 name per turn. So the first effect here, when your opponent activate a monster effect or spell or trap card and you control a Doremichordia card in your pendulum zone, shuffle 1 pendulum monster face up in your extra deck, then apply 1 of these effects. Either pendulum monster you control unaffected by your opponent's card effects. The second effect, cards in your pendulum zone cannot be destroyed by one card effect. Cards in your pendulum cannot be banished by your opponent. Like, it doesn't negate. So if it says at least to negate first, then apply 1 of these effects, yeah, we would be looking at a must play. Again, this is not a bad card. It's an interesting archetype. All I can say, it's an interesting archetype. Tell me guys what you think. Don't forget these battle building back. So the next set, we're probably gonna get a support for these archetypes. As of right now, I don't know. Okay, I don't know. Like, it's okay archetype. It's an okay archetype. So tell me guys what you think. And yeah, that's it for this video. If you like the video, make sure to like it, share it, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.